皆さんこんにちは。2024年1月22日の施政方針演説でハワイのグリーン知事が住宅難解決のためのいくつかの計画を発表しました。最も注目すべき案はバケレン物件を売って買主が住む、あるいは長期レンタルに変える場合、キャピタルゲイン税と譲渡印税が免税になります。また、もともと所有していたものであろうと購入したものであろうと、短期バケレンを長期にした場合、家賃にかかる消費税を免除すると発表しました。この法案は24年秋に可決される予定で2年間有効です。以下は約45分の演説から住宅難解決に関する6分を抜粋したものです。言い間違えた箇所や削除した方が分かりやすい箇所以外はオリジナルです。この法案は案ですのでまだ決まったわけではありませんが、参考にしてください。
Even before the fires on Maui, our state faced an urgent shortage of affordable housing. Housing costs in Hawaii are among the most expensive in the nation. Our state is such a desirable destination and such a profitable investment for so many that people from around the world have purchased property to hold as investments or rent as short-term rentals to visitors, 4 times what they would if they rented the property simply to one of our local families. Right now, 52% of all short-term rentals in Hawaii are owned by non-state residents, and 27% of short-term rental owners own 20 or more units. Take a minute to digest that. 52% of all short-term rentals are rented by people outside of Hawaii and making 4 times as much as if they were renting to someone that we love who lost a home. Now, our housing crisis affects not only low-income families because there are so few houses, but it also affects middle-class residents who earn too much to qualify for any help, but too little to afford to buy or rent in this current housing market. Local families are being squeezed out of our housing market as 30-year mortgages approach 7%, and the median home prices are absolutely way too high for most. The process of building homes, which we're all committed to, has become so complicated and costly in our state over the last 3 decades, fraught with unnecessary bureaucracy, impossible permitting processes, and prohibitive zoning rules, that we had to take immediate action. Now, to do that, I signed the emergency proclamation relating to housing on July 17th last year. This proclamation formed a committee of our state's leading housing experts, and it empowered them to cut through the red tape and approve new housing projects more quickly and easily. We immediately approved 10,800 new units of low-income housing for struggling families. And now we've turned our attention to approve affordable housing projects in urban Honolulu and along the growing rail. Now, make no mistake, I know I ruffled a few feathers when we took this action, but we have to provide housing for our local people. So in October, I listened to the environmental leaders across our state and issued an updated proclamation relating to affordable housing, allowing us to build more affordable housing while protecting precious natural and cultural resources, preserving the process, and preserving the unique character of all of Hawaii. I'm grateful for their input. And since then, we've begun to reform our housing bureaucracy. We've approved or accelerated multiple new projects, and we'll bring thousands of homes to teachers, nurses, firefighters, working families all across our state in the coming years. Now, our supplemental budget for fiscal year 2025 alone places an emphasis on infrastructure and housing with requests to the legislature of up to $373 million. This remains our administration's top statewide priority. But we have to have an honest moment here. Building alone will not solve our housing crisis. We need to find new ways to make buying or renting a home more affordable in Hawaii. We have to take further action to return the thousands of short-term rentals that I mentioned earlier to the local housing market. A challenge of this magnitude will require multiple solutions and approaches. There is no silver bullet. Now, what can we do? Greater enforcement of the laws we have regulating short-term rental markets are important. Tighter restrictions and tax changes are likely necessary, and emergency measures that we've been taking will be impactful. All of these can and should bring to bear the necessary sanity we have to have for our local long-term housing market for our own residents. Today, I'm humbly calling on my colleagues here at the legislature to help us by implementing new policies and reforms which will return our housing units to the long-term rental market for our people. This will increase supply and bring down prices in our local market, which is artificially and unfairly inflated by the global demand from visitors to our state. I will sign into law any bill the legislature sends to me that will help move short-term rentals and vacant investment properties owned by non-residents into our local housing market. This will increase supply and bring down costs for our families. In addition to this effort, my team has crafted what we feel will be a landmark piece of legislation, and I want to explain it to you right now. This piece of legislation will provide tax amnesty to any owner of a short-term rental who chooses to sell it to help us with our housing crisis. A sale of this kind to an owner-occupier local family or to someone who turns the home into a long-term rental for a local family will be exempted from capital gains tax, conveyance tax, and general excise tax. This program we're calling House Hawaii's Ohana is a plan that would start in the fall, when you give it to me, and last 24 months. During this tax amnesty period, I'll personally encourage short-term rental owners from around the world to sell their properties back to Hawaii families.
このチャンネルは日本の投資家がハワイで不動産投資をするのに適した物件情報、オープンハウスの様子、米国不動産市場の話題などを発信しています。弊社は仲介業者ではなくてコンサルの会社です。私は1990年にハワイに移住してリタイアした不動産エージェントですけれども、ハワイの不動産についてご相談がございましたら遠慮なくご連絡ください。登録までの方はよろしくお願いします。